We first met Lester in 1979 in San Francisco. The news director came in and told us that he had this young kid he was hiring from Sacramento. Next day, Lester Holt walks in the room. He's a 20-year-old kid. And by the end of that first day, he had convinced us all that he'd be a great reporter.
From Kennedy Airport, Lester Holt, Channel 2 News.
I first started working with Lester back in the late 1980s, early 1990s at WBBM. He was unflappable in breaking news situations. He was tireless, would work any shift that you'd want him to, anytime. We sent him to El Salvador, Haiti, Somalia. Even back then, the same qualities that the network saw in him years later, we saw at the local level.
Lester was the anchor on Dayside MSNBC whenever there was breaking news. He was the reliable, solid news presence on MSNBC.
And welcome to our ongoing coverage of the unforgettable decision 2000. I'm Lester Holt.
In the year 2000, that was the year with the Gore-Bush recount. It went on forever. The election never ended. And it was Lester who was our lead person, anchoring all of that breaking news of that landmark election.
This is our big debut weekend. We are now the official Weekend Today anchors.
He became a part of the Today Show family when he started to host the weekend show. You watched him on the air, and you knew right off the bat that this was a guy who was going to make a mark.
I'd always been a big fan. I had watched him for years, and I just really respected him a lot as a journalist. The minute I set foot in Studio 1A, Lester made me feel so comfortable and immediately made me feel like I was a part of that team.
The worst thing about Lester is the best thing about Lester. He always says yes. He does his morning program on the weekends. He does Dateline, which is a mixture of mysteries and investigative stuff. And he does straight, hard breaking news on the newscast.
We joke a lot that Lester is the hardest working man in news. Truth be told, it's not a joke. He wears so many different hats, but he wears them all well, and I think that's just a sign of his many strengths.
If I had to describe Lester as a journalist, it would be genuine. A big story happens, and he wants to go. He wants to experience what's going on.
This crowd is realizing that what they are experiencing now is, in fact, a taste of freedom.
He's an excellent journalist. He likes to be there and tell the story firsthand, boots on the ground. That's how he works, and I really admire that.
I remember arriving in Haiti on the tarmac, and it was tumultuous, to say the least. And there was Lester anchoring the network's coverage.
With as many as 200,000 people feared dead, the United Nations today called this disaster historic.
In the middle of this chaos, he is just flawless.
Lester is truly passionate about the men and women that serve overseas. He has spent a lot of time in Afghanistan.
They're 100% Americans.
Wherever there is a great story to be told, he wants to be the person telling it.
It's been a pleasure and a lot of fun watching Lester's career over the years. He obviously is a pro in every endeavor.
If you want to talk about Lester Holt, the first thing you have to say is he is a journalist. And you almost put a period right there.
He doesn't wait for someone to bring him the story. He goes there so he can bring it to you. That's a journalist in my book.
His breadth of work is phenomenal. He can do anything.
Lester, it's my understanding that this award each year goes to someone who has distinguished himself or herself in this field. And so my only comment to the people giving you this award is, what took you so long? You should have gotten it long ago.